Hey, what's up, YouTube? Well, I was recording a video, and for whatever reason, it just stopped. So maybe the word libtard, fascist, or communist, my phone's listening to me and just shut it off. Who knows? Big Brother's always watching. But tariffs are a good thing. And just go back in history and study the tariffs in the United States. Not just Trump, but I mean, go back. Go back before, 1913, and look at how tariffs have helped the United States. I mean, at one point we had so much money coming and we didn't know what to do with it. And right now, as it stands, we're not equally yoked, so to speak. With our trading partners, we're getting bent over and hammered. Well, Trump's making it eye for an eye. You charge 10, we charge 10. You charge 50, we charge 50. It's going to be equal across the board. So what's wrong with that? God, you people are stupid. Democrats don't understand the economy. And I'll never forget the one Democrat. This black guy, I can't think of his name. He has to be the most retarded individual, in the House. He looked at a colonel and said, well, hey, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm worried about the population on the island, and if we get too many people on there, the island's going to flip over. And there was just silence. People were dumbfounded. This guy was serious. Honestly thought an island would flip over because there's too many people on it. That's what the Democrats put in office. Stupid people like that. Feckless people like him. The most important thing that needs to happen, I think now, is investigate all these congressmen and senators that are multi-millionaires on a $200,000 salary. Where are they getting their money from? What sort of charities are their spouses tied to, and how much of that money is being kicked back to them personally? Because it happens. It is happening on a large scale. And a prime example is Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation and all the money they raised to build houses in Haiti, and they built 7. And then you look at the salaries that she was paying people, paying herself. I think that horse-faced daughter of hers wound up getting $35 million, for an estate. And then she lands a job at, what was it, ABC or CBS? She's got no experience. Anybody ever see her on TV? No, not at all. And who'd want to? Again, it's just the corruption and the depth, and it's been going on for decades. These people aren't going to give up their cash cow without a fight. And these stupid libtards, protesting at Tesla, I can't think of, Tesla dealerships and keying cars and so on and so forth. Every one of them should get 20 years. But that's the left. That's how wacky these people are. I watched a video today. This guy was, he's pro-life. He had a sign out, pro-life, and this short-haired woman, libtard, comes by with her daughter. She's got a shake in her hand. Her daughter's eating an ice cream cone. If I find that video, I'll attach it on here. And he's just having a discussion, and then she just goes ape shit and attacks him in front of her daughter. So he defends himself, and he takes her to the ground to stop her from attacking him. And then, of course, you can hear the daughter cry. This woman never thought about the safety and well-being of her own daughter. That's how, pardon my language, that's how fucking stupid these people are. You're going to get in a fight. Don't do it with your wife there or your children there. I'm telling you, if I'm going to knock somebody's block off, it's just going to be me and them. I'm not going to have a bunch of people there, family members. Why would you take a chance of your daughter getting hurt? But you got to watch the video. I'll attach it to this one. And but that's the left, And if you're on the opposite side and you have your own signs, they'll do anything to attack and intimidate you. Blowhorns, drums, whistles, anything, because they don't want you to speak. They only want to be able to speak. And it just sickens me. You know, they don't do that to large guys. You know, they'll go after scrawny men and little women. You know, but where are the alpha males in this country? How come you lazy SOBs don't get together and get out there and protest against these people? Where's all these Billy badass bikers in America? You know? I would love to see the Hells Angels go out there and support Tesla. Let these whack jobs, all they got to do is roll up on their Harleys. Say 100 of them, 200 of them. You know, this was an organization started by World War II pilots. Guys that fought fascism, communism. That's where the Hells Angels got their start. A bunch of badass guys from World War II that after the war, you know, after killing the enemy, needed to get together with like-minded guys so that they can have that patriotic companionship after the war. Because you don't go through stuff like that and just forget it. Just come back from combat and then just go get a postal job, and you know, you just don't walk away from stuff like that without being adversely affected some form or fashion. You know, and that's what's happened. But anyway, so that's what we need. We need more guys like that. And it's not just the Hells Angels, there's other groups. You know, where are you guys? How come you're not taking a stand on this? You know, the Proud Boys, you know, what a joke that was. I mean, absolutely a joke. And I think that was, I don't know, I almost want to think that was set up. Because you don't see them anywhere. You don't see them marching against any of these knuckleheads. And they should be. You know, why aren't they rallied up? No, they were a flash in the pan. And then some of their leadership wound up being, in my opinion, some pretty feckless retards. You know, I mean, it's just like, if you're going to lead, be a leader. But, you know, they didn't. You know, there were some good guys in that organization, I believe. And I think they were misled. These are guys that wanted to go and fight and do something, you know, strong and courageous, be manly, you know, for our country. But nope. You know, you have some feckless leader changing the narrative of that group that people initially signed up to or signed up for. And now look at it, they're nowhere to be seen. And again, you know, it's like this year's an important year. It's the first year of Trump's presidency. Next year's even more important. So again, I'll say it again. Where are all the alpha conservative American patriots at? Where are you? Are you guys going to take a nap again? I myself was a delegate twice in my district. Twice. You know, I write and call my senators and congressmen, even though they're idiots, and I'm sure they'll never get my message because I've never got a response from them. But it doesn't mean I stopped doing it. It doesn't mean that you should stop doing it. You should all be doing it. It's when is our country important to people? Only when we get a knucklehead like Biden and Obama in office? Then it's too late. Look at the judges we got running around. Feckless judges running around trying to create law and usurp the powers of the presidency. You should be offended by that. Especially if you're a veteran. Where's all our veteran groups? We have VFWs all over the United States. We have where's all the Masons? We have Masonic temples all over the United States. Where are you guys? Nowhere to be seen. Totally out of the public eye. You know, if you have an opportunity to stand on the bully pulpit and get your voice out there, why aren't you? It's just a select few people that we see, on the mainstream media. It's the same talking heads over and over again, and it doesn't matter what side, left or right. There's no fresh faces out there. Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan gets guys on the show, but he doesn't get your average guy out there. Where's your average guy? Joe, why don't you bring me out to the show? So I'm calling out to Joe Rogan. Look, I got this retard behind me in a Subaru, so she's a Democrat, and she's got a fucking mask on her face. COVID's been over, and she's wearing a mask. That's how dumb and brainwashed people are. Oh, if you're sick and you got to wear a mask, you should be out driving around. So I tell you, the hospital is not this direction. You have to speak up. Start your own YouTube channel. That's why I did. I just wanted to get my voice out there, and hopefully I could reach other people, like-minded people. But again, if the powers that be that control the programming and the algorithm and yada yada yada, if they don't like what you're saying, they'll minimize you. You'll just get out to a select few people, and that'll be about it. And so they stymie free speech, which is a shame. Everybody's got a right to have their platform, to have their moment. And and if people don't like it, they don't have to watch. They can, you can tune in or tune out. So I don't know, folks. I mean, it's just you hear this stuff day in and day out. I listen to it, in my office, the radio, and it's just like, man, the stupidity is gosh, it's astonishing. It really is. So if you get a chance, like and subscribe to my video, and leave a comment. I will attach that link to the video where that woman goes freaking bat crazy over abortion, and she was claiming that abortions are miscarriages. I can't remember what percentage she said, but some stupid number. It's like the vast majority of abortions are miscarriages. No, they're not. I mean, that's how dumb people are. They don't do their own research. Fact check these people. Instead of being a blind sheep and just believe everything somebody tells you on TV. So, I do. I go look and see, who it is. Does that person have a backstory? What's the person's ulterior motive? That'll tell you a lot right there. Who funds the studies? Who's paying for these whack jobs? These groups running around. Start looking at that. That'll tell you. That'll tell you everything you need to know. So, don't be a sheep. Be a bull. Stand up for your country. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for your children, your grandchildren, generations to come. Democrats aren't Democrats. They're fascists, communists, whatever. They don't support democracy, I guarantee you. Everything they do is against democracy. Democratic people don't behave that way. The other thing that gets me is the ones that profess to be Christian. All these whacked out churches, claiming to, the God says to love, bring all these homosexuals in, accept them for who they are, allow them to continue to practice homosexuality, blah, 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 blah. Love is love, all this nonsense. It's wrong. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you a dime. And I appreciate those that tune in and watch and try to help me grow my channel, and hope you have a good day. It's my daughter's birthday today, and so I'm pretty pumped about that. And she's a beautiful young lady, and she's grown into becoming a beautiful woman, and with a mind of her own, but she's like her dad, and so I couldn't be happier. So anyway, like and subscribe, and have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.